Good evening. I'm Spot On Weather meteorologist Matthew Euler, and tonight we're going to talk about the overall weather pattern and what's happening lately. Why has it been so very warm? We're sitting here on October 3rd, 2018, and we're saying to ourselves, boy, it feels like summer out there. So tonight I made this presentation titled Where is Fall? Because we just really don't know. It just definitely doesn't feel like it out there right now in Southeast Virginia. So let's take a look at the analysis first of all, valid today, Wednesday, the 3rd of October, 2018. On the image on the left, I'm showing the winds at 30,000 feet, the long wave pattern. And on the right-hand side, I am showing the actual analysis of where precipitation is located. The green is the rain, and even we have some blue on here now, and that is the snow. Okay, so you're starting to see a little bit of blue now creeping down across the Canadian border into the northern United States, and we will start to see more and more of that as we progress further and further into the fall. All right, so the analysis today, it shows we have at the 300 millibar chart there on the left, jet stream. We do have a long wave trough situated off the west coast of the United States, and we do have an upper air ridge, or upper level ridge, that's situated from the Midwest working its way east to the East Coast. And that's what's going on in the upper levels, and that's really what drives everything. The jet stream is that high-speed ribbon of air that pushes storm systems. Whenever you have long wave troughs, you typically have cool and unsettled weather. Whenever you have these huge upper air ridges that resemble more of an upside down U pattern, that is going to give you warmer and drier conditions for a location. So right now, Southeast Virginia and the East Coast as a whole is being influenced by this huge upper level ridge up at 30,000 feet above the ground. If you look on the right-hand side here, very dry, not much in the way of any green anywhere near Southeast Virginia. Very dry, and we expect that would occur beneath an upper level ridge at 30,000 feet. That's typically what's going to happen. There's an area of lower pressure out towards southwest Minnesota today. Again, there's some scattered shower activity in the Midwest. It's quite breezy in the Midwest right now, actually, as warmer winds from the southwest blow into Missouri, Illinois, and into Michigan. So right now, this is how things stand. And again, we're being influenced by an upper air ridge here in Southeast Virginia. Now let's move it ahead to tomorrow's forecast for the 4th of October. And what I really want you to pay attention to over time is the upper air pattern there on the left, the jet stream, the winds at 30,000 feet. It really will not change a whole lot over this discussion tonight, all the way out until late next week. Really not much of a change going on across the eastern United States and for Southeast Virginia. The upper air ridge is still influencing us tomorrow. We do have a long wave trough back into Washington State, Idaho, Montana. That trough is then extending further down towards the south, almost due north-south axis to that trough, extending down into California. So you have some scattered showers out in the western United States. Up at higher elevations, you're actually going to start seeing more in the way of snow. As you go up in the atmosphere, temperatures generally tend to cool off the higher you get. So look in Southeast Virginia tomorrow. We're expecting another dry day, another above normal temperature day across the area. We do have an area of rain to our northwest over Ohio, southern Indiana, into western PA, into western New York State, and that is an association with the next cold front that's approaching from the northwest. But with the jet stream configuration the way it is there on the left, we're just not going to get much in the way of very strong cold fronts to really come in here and give us that fall-like temperature feel at all. So we do have a weak cold front approaching Southeast Virginia tomorrow. That will move through late tomorrow night and Thursday night into Friday morning, but it will be a dry, cold frontal passage for the most part. We don't have a lot of moisture in the atmosphere right now to work with. On the left-hand side, a long wave trough remains anchored over the western United States, resulting in cool and very unsettled showery type weather, and even some scattered snow showers at higher elevations of Wyoming. More rain shower activity in the Midwestern United States on Friday, the 5th of October, if you're traveling towards the Midwest. Again, dry for southeast Virginia on Friday. There is an area of higher pressure over eastern Canada, 1,028 millibar high. So we do expect the winds will shift more to the north and then northeast. Not very strong gradient, so we're not expecting very strong winds to occur. Moving ahead now, what's your weekend look like? Any weekend outdoor plans? The first weekend of October, Busch Gardens has Hollow Scream going on, or perhaps you're going to a festival or some kind of craft show or something like that, flea market on the weekend. What's outside activities look like for the weather? It's going to continue to remain dry for southeast Virginia, and it will continue to remain above normal in temperatures. That long wave trough really deepens there into the western United States, while the ridge, whenever you have something in the atmosphere go down, just like Newton's laws of motion, for every action there's an equal opposite reaction. Whenever you have a trough deepening in the upper levels of the atmosphere, downstream, or generally in the northern hemisphere to the east of that, you will have an upper level ridge that will be building. So we're expecting to continue to be influenced by higher heights, by a stronger upper level ridge over the eastern United States, anchored the upper high center, anchored right off of the Cape Hatteras for Saturday the 6th of October. Dry conditions. In order to get any of that rain, you need to go back. You need to go back further west towards Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and Ohio for Saturday. Moving on to Sunday, again dry. So we're expecting a dry forecast for all outdoor activities this weekend across southeast Virginia. No worries about any rainfall at all. All the activity remains in that long wave trough, that U-shaped pattern there on the left-hand side of my jet stream chart at the 300 millibar, 30,000 foot level. Very deep trough, very cold air that pours into the base of that long wave trough. I talk about that during the wintertime when we talk about the jet stream, the importance of it, not only in steering weather systems, but the coldest air usually funnels into the base of that long wave trough, and the warmest temperatures are associated with the upper air ridges. So on the right-hand side for Sunday across southeast Virginia, again, continue dry. Most of the storm activity, precipitation, higher elevation snows remain out west. Moving ahead now to Monday, the 8th of October of Columbus Day. Some of you may have the day off from work. The upper air ridge continues to build, and I tell you what, this pattern is pretty stuck in place. The long wave trough remains over the western United States. This huge upper air ridge is just pumped up, all the way up, extending from Florida all the way up into New England, and we're going to continue to just be above normal in temperatures, continue to remain dry across southeast Virginia. Really no changes, and all the precipitation again remains back towards Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. That's where most of it is occurring. There could be some scattered showers and thunderstorms into Kansas, as you got strong southerly winds on Monday, the 8th of October. A lot of mountainous snow again out Wyoming, Montana, and Colorado into Canada. For Tuesday, the 9th of October, not much change. Look at that chart on the left-hand side again, the upper air chart at 30,000 feet where the jet stream is. The yellow colors there indicate higher wind speeds within the jet stream core or the jet stream axis. But again, it's just the deep trough remains over the western U.S., remains pretty much dug in out there, while an upper air ridge continues to dominate over southeast Virginia. The jet stream is well to our north. Do not expect any changes in temperatures at all. We're going to continue to remain above normal with highs into the 80s again by Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday, the 10th of October, things start to change a little bit. The upper air ridge starts to break down over the eastern United States. It tries to start flattening out a little bit. That trough in the west is also starting to fill in, which means it's starting to become more west to east, zonal, rather than very deep meridional, where it's like a huge carved out U shape. Dry again for Wednesday, the 10th of October. We also do not have any tropical activity in the Atlantic Ocean at this time, so there really are no tropical threats in the foreseeable future. Moving on to Thursday, the 11th of October, the ridge still continues to break down there on that chart on the left. Over the east coast, it's breaking down slowly but surely. And then continue dry on Thursday the 11th. There is a cold front that's situated out back towards the Midwest by Thursday the 11th of October, extending from Michigan into northern Illinois into Missouri. There's some tropical activity there in the eastern Pacific Ocean, hurricane out that way. All right, so let's take a look at these graphics, and these are provided courtesy of Metro Weather Watch, and you see the website there, metroweatherwatch.com. This is our 7-day outlook for Southeast Virginia. We're starting with tomorrow, Thursday. Mostly sunny conditions, high 88 on Thursday, low 72 Friday morning, and then mostly cloudy as that cold front comes in. We may have some increasing high and mid clouds perhaps as the weak cold front pushes through overnight tomorrow night, Thursday night into Friday morning. You'll notice there's about an 8-degree drop off in temperature. The coolest days look to be Friday and Saturday with highs between 78 and 80. And then you'll notice by Sunday and especially Monday, the temperatures again are right back into the lower 80s. The normal high temperature for this time of year is about 75 degrees. So we continue to remain well above normal. We had a very warm September, and now we're continuing that trend into October. Looking out over the whole rest of the 7-day period through next Wednesday, dry conditions continue. Now I will say this with the atmosphere, although things have been really warm for the fall to this point, September and now as we progress into October, for every action there's an equal opposite reaction. And again, that gets back to Newton's laws of motion. So you really have to wonder, and what I'm intrigued by is when will the switch be flipped to where we go to a more colder pattern? Because it's very possible, the longer we have these warm temperatures, there's a great possibility that it's going to get really cold really quick. So we may not have much of a fall this year is basically what I'm saying. All right, so now here's the Climate Prediction Center from the 8th to the 12th of October. This is their outlook. On the left there is temperatures, a 6 to 10 day outlook. And on the right hand side is precipitation. Okay, so on the left hand side you see all the maroon and the red colors all over the eastern U.S. You also see in the western U.S. there all that dark shading purple and blue. That's showing much below normal conditions for temperatures, much below normal temperatures over the 8 to 12 October time period for the western United States, and very warm and above normal temperatures all the way up the eastern seaboard, all the way up into New England. And then on the right hand side you can see kind of like where all the above normal, the green indicates where you're having a lot more precipitation, and the brownish khaki looking color there on the east coast is where the precipitation is below normal, so it's fairly dry. All right, so here are my long-range final thoughts tonight. We are looking for very warm conditions for Southeast Virginia. We could have temperatures 10 to 15 degrees above normal, as we have high temperatures into the 80s quite frequently over the next 7 days. Remaining dry over the period as well, as we have that strong upper level ridge that I've been mentioning on the charts that's building over the eastern United States. And that upper level ridge will slowly begin to break down by Friday the 12th of October, with more seasonable temperatures filtering into Southeast Virginia, especially next weekend, Saturday, October 13th and Sunday the 14th of October. And also there are no tropical threats that are expected over the next 5 to 10 days. So, it was looking like there could be a possibility of something trying to develop in the Caribbean as we go into a favorable Madden-Julian oscillation phase. However, the southwesterly wind shear looks to be a little bit strong, too strong for anything to really get going. And then I'm going to end this presentation tonight on my thoughts for winter 2018-19. What are we looking at? I did a video already here at Spot On Weather on the overall outlook, what kind of factors I was looking at as far as teleconnection patterns for the upcoming winter. And I wanted to follow it up with these images. So you'll notice during a weak El Nino on the left, the image on the left, that's what we're expecting is a weak El Nino. So you notice how you get a split jet stream pattern across the western United States. That purple line there indicates the subtropical jet stream. So the white line indicates the polar front jet, and the purple indicates subtropical jet stream. Right. So what's the importance of these two? Well, if you get that troughing pattern as indicated in this diagram on the left, you typically get cold air that comes down from Canada, and then it meets up with the subtropical jet stream, that purple line, and you get the merging of the jet streams, which can result in big storms, East Coast storms. So I am excited because I'm thinking this is what my thought is for the winter. We're heading to a weak El Nino winter, and this is typically what you get. So you get colder than normal and above normal snowfall from Massachusetts into Pennsylvania down into Virginia, where we're at, and even into parts of North Carolina. And then you get just wet over Southern California. That subtropical jet stream is very active. Get these occasional shots of cold air that come in from Canada into the eastern U.S., into the mid-Atlantic. And look at the right-hand side image there. That really explains it. Big storm potential because of the merging of those two jet streams, the subtropical and that polar front jet stream. So this is what I'm looking for the winter of 2018-19. We're expecting colder than normal temperatures. We're also expecting above normal snowfall. Again, keep in mind for us in the Hampton Roads area, normal average winter snowfall is about 7 inches. But I just wanted to, I didn't include this in my last winter forecast discussion, so I wanted to show you this. This is a really good graphic kind of explaining the thoughts. All right, that wraps things up here at Spot On Weather. Remember, if we're not spot on, we're not doing it right. I wish everybody a great Wednesday evening. I'll be hoping along with everybody else that this pattern will eventually break and we'll actually start feeling the fall chill in the air, a little bit more cooler temperatures. All right, everybody, take care. Have a good evening. Spot On Weather.